Well, new year, new me, I guess. So I guess I saw a little bit more movies than I saw in 2024, 2023, but to be honest, that's not really saying much, is it? Yeah, it's worth noting that I don't see a lot of movies this year, a lot of years, because I don't really get out of the house. I did not watch K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm so sorry. I will get around to watching it. Nor did I watch the Pixar movie that came out this year, Elio. And also, I didn't. To be honest, a lot of animated movies, I just didn't see this year. I was mostly looking forward to the superhero side of things. I got some Sponges, Chicken Jockeys. Hopefully that meme is still around. The revival, a movie to a Nickelodeon show that ended a long time ago, and dinosaurs. So let's get into it. Speaking of dinosaurs, that's the bottom list. Jurassic World Rebirth. Yeah, I think you can, I bet you were thinking, well, isn't a Minecraft movie on this list? Well, yes, it is, but the reason it isn't, I just think it's just higher than this by not a lot. But let's get back to Jurassic World Rebirth. This movie is so boring. Like, with this movie does have a plot, but the plot is so boring, I don't care. It's easy to follow. These guys have to get free DNAs to cure diseases, I think. Scarlett Johansson is in this movie, and her character is boring, but her overall performance is fine. Same thing goes for Mahershala Ali. I can't wait to see him in a Blade movie. There's only been one Blade. There's only gonna be one Blade. Yeah, I know I didn't show the clip because I don't want to get copyrighted. Maybe I should watch the Wesley Snipes trilogy. Anyways, everyone else is moving. I don't care about. There's a boring billionaire guy, the family who is just I don't like this guy who's dating my daughter. Some stupid kid, stupid dinosaur pal. There's this one guy who Charlie Johansson knows, and maybe he's gonna be a character, but then he dies. There are two members of Mahershala Ali's crew dies, and it's just for shock value. We don't really know them. The millionaire dude guys, and I do not care. Mahershala Ali has a fake out death scene. The dinosaurs barely appear, because of course they do. This is a Gareth Edwards film. Gareth Edwards' directing is fine, but when your dinosaurs barely appear in this movie, you have this cool-ass dinosaur, I expect more. It's basically the same problem as Godzilla 2014 has. Honestly, I have a theory that if Gareth Edwards is gonna direct another monster movie, the actual creature stuff is gonna be sidelined. Alright, I'll wait for that day. Bad movie, 3 out of 10. But hey, at least it has more artistic merit than a Minecraft movie. Okay, I didn't put this at the bottom spot, mostly just because I had a fun time watching this. In the theater, I didn't really like it much more than my second coming. Look, we all know this is a meme sensation. Chicken Jockey, I Am Steve. Those were the highlights of the movie. Jack Black as Steve is an icon. We all know that. And I also like Jason Momoa in this role. The other three I don't care about. Yeah, most of the CGI is really bad. And it looks like one of those old Minecraft videos you would see in a day where it was hyper realistic and kind of AI-ish. And can we talk about how bad of an acting job Henry's actor was? I don't even know his name. I just, goddamn. Admittedly, it is a kid actor, so I can't excuse that. And also, Oma Gosha is the villain. She's alright. She's not like as memorable as some of like any other villain on this list. She's the worst one because Jurassic World Rebirth doesn't have a villain that I care about. And to be honest, some of the plot does seem like there's filler to like pad out the runtime or make a reference to Minecraft. This is still better than Jurassic World Rebirth because I felt something. 4 out of 10. Okay, those are the only 2 bad movies I saw this year. Now let's move on to the good movies, or kind of good. First up, we have SpongeBob Search for SquarePants. This movie is pretty funny, I'll give it that. I like SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs' bond, and the animation here is a mass improvement over the last 2 movies. But to be honest, there are some things I think could be better. Like, this is just the first movie where, like, instead of SpongeBob learning to, like, that he's a kid, he has to be a grown-up, which kind of underused the first message of the movie. And there's just some jokes I did not laugh at, such as that one intestines joke. Also, I like the montage where, like, George Lyle disappears. That was cool. And finally, possibly my favorite part was, like, Mark Hamill as a Flying Dutchman. And I didn't expect him to be in this, him of all people to be in this role. And he did a pretty good job. I like it. So, Search for SquarePants is a decent for me, 6 out of 10. Okay. Now, probably the most hated superhero movie of the year. Captain America Brave New World. Personally, I like it. I'm not saying just because Red Hulk is in this movie. There are some good stuff too. I like Joaquin Torres's character. New Falcon. He and Falcon and Sam's duo is really fun to watch. The leader is a good villain. I just don't like his design. It would have been better if he had, like, the big forehead. And in the comics, we all know. Which looks 10 times better. But I think as a character, he works. He has a reasonable motivation for hating Ross. There's also some really cool action scenes. Seriously, that fight with, like, Red Hulk and Sam is top tier. You can't say otherwise. And of course, who could forget about the star of the show, Red Hulk? He honestly has a good character arc. He basically wants to be the president, but constantly fails at it. Tries to work so hard, but eventually ends up failing. So he then turns into the Red Hulk, due to his anger. And I like how Captain America tries to, like make peace with him because he's a weakling. Oh yeah, we should probably of the Sam. I do like his arc, but that's kind of like the same thing he went through, like in the Captain America and Falcon and Winter Soldier show. Oh, and to be honest, he really should just go for the super serum because he's kind of a weak link. Like when it compares to Bucky. I mean, yeah, like Red Hulk still could beat Bucky and Steve, or possibly John Walker. But they still would have a better time fighting together than Sam did. And also, there's some characters you don't need, such as that one shooter guy, the Red Room girl, Sam's military friend, Sam's friend who's right now hands mans to the president. Yeah, pretty good movie still. I rate it out of 7 out of 10. Okay, probably the superhero movie you all kind of forgot about. Did you know there was a 5th one? Yes, I of course am talking about Henry Danger the movie. Yeah, really, Henry Danger. I don't care what anyone says. I like Henry Danger. Sure, the acting could be better and the stories could be a bit more fleshed out, but I think it's funny. This movie especially. Henry actually kind of goes through an arc a bit. And where he really learns to appreciate Jasper. And Jasper feels a lot more grown up in this movie. Like, he's no longer that whiny little kid. You can feel a lot of time has passed. And I like seeing Swaz, Oz, and Piper appear in this movie. Same thing with Frankini. And while the villains are nothing to write home about, they are pretty good threats. This is also one of the most unique portrayals of the multiverse. Where they're all from a kid's imagination, and if you use that machine to make a wish, it comes true. It's honestly really creative. And there are some actually pretty fun jokes here, like how the Canadians need like syrup and it's like the last resource of the world. That's pretty funny. And I also like when they go into an animated universe. If there's any negatives I would have, well, this movie does pretty look good. It could be better. And some of the acting. Look, I like Sean something, I don't really know his full name, performance as Jasper. Swaz and Piper are as good as always. But Jace Norman I've never been a big too fan of. I think his acting just could be a little bit better. Edward Stein I've never been too big on. But still pretty good. I really like it. And if you're a Henry Danger fan and grew up watching the show, I suggest you give it a watch. Okay, next up we have Dogman. Okay, I know this is a children's film, so it's kind of a bit weird to review. But there's But also, a fun fact, this is actually the first DreamWorks movie I've seen in theaters. Yep, this movie. Not any of the other movies that came out at the time. Kung Fu Panda 3, Captain Underpants, Boss Baby, thank God. Puss in Boots' Last Wish, Kung Fu Panda 4. Or I didn't see any of those in theaters. This was the first movie I saw in theaters. This year. Anyways, back to the actual movie itself. It's good. I think all the this feels like a perfect adaptation, mixing a bunch of Dogman stories in together. And it feels very like it was made by children in a good way, because that's what Dogman is in the comics. He's not a real person. He's a fictional character created by George and Harold. And all the characters are pretty good too, such as Pete. Petey is awesome. I really think it's funny that his actor is also named Pete. The Chief was also an underrated character, I think, as well. Little Petey is cute. Sarah Hodoff is pretty fun to be around. And Dogman, and I liked how they didn't give him some A-list celebrity. He's just like a dog. And it works. And there are also some pretty funny moments too. Like that "Life is not fair" joke is still really funny to me. And while I think the plot could be a bit better, like more better and kind of janky at sometimes, I think it's still pretty good. I would give Dogman an 8 out of 10. Okay. Now we go on to a movie that you didn't expect this movie to be high. Plankton the movie. So, yeah, you know how a lot of people are starting to kind of hate the SpongeBob movies now, especially after the last two gave everyone a bad taste. This one actually was pretty good, because it focuses on Plankton. It's a shame, because I was kind of a bit more interested in Sammy having her own movie, because she is a lot more fleshed out and feels like you could do a lot with her. But Plankton is kind of took me surprised. First of all, this is a musical, and while I'm kind of sick of how most of Netflix movies are musicals, like nearly everyone, Leo, K-pop Deep Unders, that miraculous Ladybug movie. These songs were all pretty good here. Seriously, Say My Name Karen is such a good villain song. Speaking of Karen, I really liked her story in this. You really kind of feel bad for her and want to see her succeed. Same thing goes for Plankton. He goes for a really compelling character arc. And SpongeBob actually does... is not annoying, and I don't want him to die throughout the movie, thank God. Yeah, I always like their dynamic, SpongeBob and Plankton's dynamic between this, because one's kind of especially here, because SpongeBob isn't like, oh, Plankton, that wasn't nice, can we be friends? No, he kind of stands up for himself and admits that Plankton is a jerk. And it's really fun to see SpongeBob crash out once, which is something we haven't seen since like that one season 4 or 5 or season 6. I am so sorry. I know we're supposed to go into 25 and not joke about this, but yeah. Anyways, back to the movie. I like how there's also some really good continuity and references to the old show, proving that there is a continuity, such as like when they reference the Chum Bucket Hats from the first movie, that one robot girl that Krabs dated, and also some of Plankton's gadgets from the second movie. We also get to see Plankton go to college, which I thought was really cool, exploring his character, and they even learned that he kind of actually failed at it. Despite kind of being an evil genius. I also like the joke on how Plankton froze this guy and left him alone for multiple years. Basically kept Americaing him, and probably all his family aged a bunch of time and lost years of his life. That's so evil yet funny at the same time. And also the Gal Pals are here too. The poster shows them. Feels like they're going to be a major characters. And while they are for most of the movie, it's not really much till the end. And the animation is terrible. Like, it's mostly the lighting I don't like. And say what you want about the Sandy Cheek movies, but you gotta admit that that movie looks way better than whatever this is. But I still like Plankton in the movie. Okay. So you think Thunderbolts is going to be another Suicide Squad where, like, a lot of people die? Well, aside from Taskmaster, no, surprisingly not. I like how they don't... The Thunderbolts actually feel like is a really good movie. To be honest, the top 3 are actually the 3 best superhero movies on this list. Thunderbolts is really pushes the team dynamic here. And they're essentially the new Guardians, where they feel like a family and genuinely look out for each other. All the characters are great, where they all don't feel like they don't have a purpose in life, such as John Walker, Red Guardian, Lena. But when they finally become supers, they found a purpose. And Bucky even is pretty fun in this too. And who could forget about the Sentry? First of all, Lewis Pullman gives off a great performance, and you really feel bad for what he had to deal with, where no one had it. His own family wasn't on his side, but with his new friends, he found a new family. It's really compelling. Though I don't like how we probably won't see the Sentry again. And, I mean, he is going to be in Doomsday, but I hope they find a way to bring him back, But if not, then I'm fine with it. This I also really like the directing, because it honestly kind of reminds me a bit of The Boys a bit, where, like it talks a lot about real world heroes and how the Avengers are basically gone. And if there's any and there's also Taskmaster, who she's dead. Yeah, we all kind of knew she was dead, especially since we didn't see her a lot with the group, so it was kind of obvious that she was gonna die. I mean, I kind of would have liked... No, I wouldn't. If there's any negatives I have, it's Ghost. She's just a dick through and through this movie. Like, sure, John Walker was a bit of a dick, but at least you can kind of see where it was coming from, and it was kind of and did go for an arc. Here, Ghost is just, like, whining and, like, berating everyone around her, and it's just not fun to watch. I mean, you kind of... She was kind of better in Ant-Man and the Wasp, where you kind of felt bad for her, but now you don't. You're just... I think she's kind of annoying. But aside from that, she's pretty good. The movie's pretty good. It's honestly a bit better than Suicide Squad, because where I feel like... why am I explaining why Thunderbolts is better than Suicide Squad 2016? We all know why. Solid 9 out of 10. Finally, number 2, we have Fantastic Four First Steps. A good Fantastic Four movie. Can you believe it? Yeah. So, obviously, it's no joke that some of the Fantastic Four have been treated badly by Fox. But here, I like how I've done immense justice. The Thing is no longer won't be about how he looks. He's kind of... While he does have some resemblance of that, he does eventually get over it. And Reed feels like the smartest man. Vanessa... Sue and Johnny feel like the soul and heart of the team. Johnny's a hotshot, but still can be smart. And Sue really tries to pull the team together. And all the cast is is great. Vanessa Kirby, Eamon Moss Backrack, Joseph Quinn, and Pedro Pascal. I don't really get the hate for Pedro Pascal, honestly. I think he's a really good actor here. I mean, it is kind of annoying to see him everywhere nowadays, but there's a reason for that. He is a great actor, and honestly, he's basically the best as Reed Richards in movie form, but that's not really saying much considering what the competition is. Speaking of, also the villains are really good too. Instead of being a fart cloud, I don't know if we all like to poke fun of, Galactus is a threat. He looks ripped straight from the comics. He might be the most threatening Marvel villain, well, aside from Thanos. And Silver Surfer has a pretty good character arc. I like how they went with Shaw Ball instead of Nor and Rad, just to be a bit different. And there are some really good actions here too. Michael Giacchino does a really good score. And the retro futuristic 60s world is really fun. So that is number 2, and my second favorite movie of the year. And finally, at my number 1 favorite movie of the year, and best, is Superman. Well, I mean, it was kind of obvious, wasn't it? This is basically the best Superman movie. I mean, I've only seen 2. Superman, Man of Steel, and Superman. Yeah, I gotta watch more DC movies, guys. I'm sorry. First of all, as much as I do like Man of Steel, this movie is a lot more funner, kind of depressing, just more lighthearted. Superman feels hopeful. He saves not just humans, but everyone. He saves a squirrel, dogs. He really feels compassionate about everything. And it goes for an arc of appreciating his home life on Earth and his old life on Krypton. All the side characters are really good. Lois Lane feels like a great love interest and has good chemistry with Clark and Superman. Jimmy Olsen is easily one of my favorite characters. It's crazy how every single woman is after him and Jimmy just isn't really interested. Yeah, bro. And while Clark's parents aren't really that fleshed out, they still good for his character arc. I also like the Justice Gang. While despite being another team movie, the Justice Gang aren't the focus. Superman is. And mostly because they aren't really giving character arcs. Aside from like Manamorpho, who was also another favorite of mine. But they still managed to be pretty good characters. I don't really like them. Well, except for Hawk Girl, she's kind of a bit forgettable, but has a fun design. Mr. Terrific has some cool powers, and I like his accent. Reminds me a bit of a cowboy. And who could forget about Guy Gardner? It's one of those characters where he's just a dick through and through that actually works. Works unlike Ghost, because he's actually kind of funny in this role. And who can forget the obvious star of the show, Lex Luthor? First of all, Nicholas Hoult killed this role. Everything about him is great. And there are also some really good action scenes in this movie too, such as... I'm going to go back to Lex for a minute. Because he is the absolute D1 hater in this movie. He hates everything about Superman. And he literally helped try to kill an entire nation just so he didn't have an excuse to kill Superman. Bro, that's D1 hating. Well, I think Fantastic Four has better directorial... looks way better. This movie still has some good shots and good action. And the final battle especially. And Crypto is a fun companion. Everything about this movie is great. Well, except for the twist that, like Superman and his family was all kind of evil. That's kind of dumb. Aside from that, this is easily a 9 out of 10. Instant classic. So that was a ranking. What movie was it out of these movies? Which is your favorite? And that's all for now. Oh wait, before then, we gotta talk about the future of this channel. Instead of making a whole video about my project for 2026, I'm just gonna tell you about them. That is same from last year because I forgot to make them. Yeah, you're still getting Blue Trainer Friends season 6 and 7. Yes, I just made another 6-7 joke. I'm also gonna make a review for Stories of Solar season 6 and 7. 6, 7. And who could also and the Transformers movie still is happening. I'm actually gonna make it on Marvel Wolf Blade. And I'm just gonna have to get to filming it. And also I plan to make maybe a crossover series of all my 3 main shows: Jeffrey and Junior's Adventures, there's Mario and Friends, and Blue Trainer Friends. I hope to also make some more Jeffrey and Junior's Adventures. I just really don't have a lot of ideas for episodes right now. Aside from that one Peter the Cat Dogman episode I want to make. That's all for now. Bye.